No one truly knows what heaven looked like before the fall, but one question has haunted humanity for centuries. How did the most beautiful being ever created become the greatest enemy of God? Before fear surrounded his name, he was admired among angels. Before darkness consumed him, he walked in glory. His name was Lucifer, and his story began in the light. Lucifer was not created as evil. Ancient scripture describes him as wise, radiant, and breathtaking in appearance. Many believed his presence reflected the brilliance of heaven itself. He stood close to the throne of God, surrounded by beauty beyond human imagination. Among countless angels, he seemed unique, almost untouchable. Some traditions believe Lucifer held a position of honor among the heavenly hosts. While angels worshipped before the Creator, he stood among the highest in heaven. Imagine existing without pain, fear, or corruption, living constantly in the presence of divine perfection. Yet even in a place filled with holiness, danger silently appeared. That danger was pride. It did not arrive suddenly like lightning. It began quietly, almost invisibly, deep inside Lucifer's heart. The beauty he once carried for God's glory slowly became a source of self-obsession. Instead of looking toward the Creator, he began focusing on himself, and everything started changing. At first, the thoughts may have seemed harmless, but pride grows silently. Lucifer started believing his greatness deserved more. His position no longer satisfied him. His honor no longer felt enough. Deep within him, ambition began to rise like hidden fire. For the first time, heaven witnessed the birth of rebellion. Scripture suggests that Lucifer's heart became corrupted because of his own splendor. What was once a gift became vanity. He no longer desired only admiration. He wanted authority beyond what had been given to him. Slowly, the desire for power transformed into something darker, the desire to rise above God himself. Then came the thought that changed eternity forever. I will ascend above the stars of God. Those words were not simple ambition. They were defiance. Lucifer was no longer content standing near the throne. He wanted the throne itself. And the terrifying part was this. He was not alone in those thoughts. Many angels began listening to Lucifer. Perhaps they were captivated by his brilliance. Perhaps they trusted his promises. Maybe they believed something greater awaited them. Whatever the reason, division slowly spread across heaven. For the first time, loyalty among angels was tested. The peace of heaven began to fracture. Imagine that unimaginable moment. Heaven, once filled with harmony, suddenly overshadowed by tension. Angels choosing sides, pride spreading like poison. And at the center of it all stood Lucifer, convinced he could challenge the Creator himself. But there was one truth he refused to understand. No created being can overpower God. When rebellion reached its limit, judgment came immediately. The Bible describes a war in heaven unlike anything creation had ever seen. Michael and his angels fought against Lucifer and those who followed him. The being once associated with light became consumed by darkness. Heaven itself became a battlefield. Lucifer lost. The one who once walked among heavenly glory was cast down from heaven. Alongside him fell the angels who joined his rebellion. In a single moment, everything changed. The angel once admired in heaven became known by another name, Satan, the adversary, the accuser, the enemy of God. Imagine the silence after the fall, the absence left behind where celestial worship once echoed. The being who once stood near divine glory was now separated from it forever. Scripture describes Satan's fall as catastrophic. The beauty that once reflected light became consumed by rebellion and darkness. But the story did not end with his fall. According to the Bible, Satan carried hatred with him after being cast out, a hatred directed toward God and everything belonging to him. And when humanity was created, the enemy saw an opportunity. If he could not overthrow God, he would attack what God loved. That may explain why the Garden of Eden became the next target. The serpent did not appear by accident. Satan already understood the pain of rebellion and separation. He wanted humanity to experience the same fall. What began in heaven was now spreading to earth through deception and temptation. One disturbing truth stands out in this story. Satan did not begin as a monster. He began as something beautiful and admired. That reality reveals how destruction often begins internally. Pride transformed light into darkness. Corruption started in the heart long before it appeared outwardly. History continues repeating this pattern. Pride has destroyed kings, nations, leaders, and ordinary people throughout time. Many who seemed wise became consumed by arrogance. Many who possessed greatness lost everything because they desired more. Lucifer's fall became more than a spiritual story. It became a warning. The dangerous nature of pride is how quietly it enters. It convinces people they no longer need guidance. It whispers that obedience is weakness. It creates the illusion that power and self-glory matter more than truth. Slowly, without notice, pride changes the heart from within. Perhaps that is why Lucifer's story continues frightening people today. If a being created in perfection could fall, what does that reveal about the danger of arrogance? The story forces humanity to confront an uncomfortable truth. Destruction often begins with thoughts hidden deep inside the soul. Many believe Satan still imitates God even now. He offers false promises, temporary power, and illusions of control. According to Scripture, his greatest weapon is not physical strength, but deception. He manipulates through lies, confusion, and temptation. The same strategy used in heaven still continues today. The Bible even calls Satan the father of lies. That title reveals his nature. From heaven to Eden, deception has always been central to his actions. Evil rarely appears openly at first. Instead, it disguises itself as wisdom, freedom, or opportunity. That is what makes it dangerous. Some people imagine hell as Satan's kingdom, where he rules with absolute authority. Yet Scripture describes something very different. Hell was not created for him to govern. It was created as a place of judgment. Even Satan fears the final destiny waiting for him in the end. There is another tragic detail hidden in Lucifer's story. He already possessed unimaginable beauty, honor, and privilege. He stood near God himself, yet pride convinced him it was insufficient. Ambition without limits always creates emptiness. No matter how much exists, it always demands more. That endless desire became the very thing that destroyed him. Lucifer wanted what could never belong to him. Instead of gratitude, he chose rebellion. Instead of worship, he chose self-exaltation. And in seeking greater glory, he lost everything he already possessed in abundance. Today, billions recognize the name Satan, yet few stop to imagine who he once was before the fall. The greatest enemy in biblical history once stood among heavenly beings in beauty and honor. That transformation from light to darkness remains one of the most haunting stories ever told. Perhaps the most terrifying part of the story is how it all began. Not with armies, not with destruction, not with violence. Everything started with a single hidden thought growing silently inside the heart, and many believe that is how all corruption begins. Internally, before externally. Despite the rebellion, the darkness, and the spiritual battle described in Scripture, the Bible declares that evil will not triumph forever. The final outcome has already been spoken. According to prophecy, Satan's defeat is certain. Darkness may continue for a season, but it will not reign eternally. Some see Lucifer's fall as symbolism. Others believe it explains the invisible spiritual conflict still influencing the world today. Either way, the story continues fascinating humanity because it touches something deeply personal. The struggle between pride, obedience, truth, and deception inside every human heart. Now imagine heaven after the rebellion ended. Silence replacing celestial music, the absence of the angel who once desired to rise above the Creator himself. Many believe that moment marked the first shadow ever cast across creation, the beginning of darkness in the universe.